Hello and welcome to episode 12 of
Wait a
Beldania.
second. Did you really try to click the go live button on your Discord stream
Yes,
window?
yes.
This
Shut
is
up.
where we're at today.
Shut up. Didn't happen. Okay. Today I have playing with me, Jamal.
Hey guys, Jamal here playing Kiavo of the Duskmane Pride, Leonin, Order of the Scribes Wizard.
I have Josh. Alright.
Yeah, he's.
Hi, I'm Josh. I will be playing Sebastian Belmont, who is an abjuration wizard, human turned housecare, and resident team mascot.
I have Bruno.
Hello, today I'm playing Natasha Ayelet, a life cleric who's just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Speaking of lyrics, I have Joe.
Yeah, that's me, Jedi Master, playing Hennick Littlefield, halfling farmer and bard.
And I have Rico.
Hey, it's Rico playing Torin Goldenbrand, Dragonborn Paladin.
I also have a really good sausage and egg panini that I refuse to give up on. So I just want to make that very clear. That is going to be a feature in the first 20 minutes or so today. I apologize.
Damn it, now I'm hungry.
I
Okay.
know, you bastard, James.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuck.
Running good.
I'm gonna go and order Domino's.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, today, recap. Little recap. Petite. So basically, last week our players were living it up in Harbondon, delivering their news, doing their official duties. And this week they were instructed, if say a day in the town, to then traverse with. Why were you staying a day in town? Does anyone know that?
I think you said there was like a caravan leaving.
There was a
after that.
caravan heading out in the next day.
Yes,
basically.
yes, you were going to ride with the caravan on the way back. So you had a day to spend in Harbondon doing whatever it is you wish to do before heading home. And frankly, I haven't got a clue, but I do know that we spent the night in Burlocks.
Mhm.
Yes.
Excellent.
Mhm.
We got butlered in the morning. And I think we'd just spoken to Seven in the Rangers Guild. We'll pick up there. Is that correct? Have I got my timeline wrong there? 7 yesterday?
I know we
thought
spoke
so.
to one grumpy bastard.
We spoke to.
Lord Horseshaw.
Yep.
We may have finished up with the Queen in Disguise lady,
Yeah.
Gotcha. You finished up in the Silver Knight Tavern
Pelidra, whatever her name is.
with the Lady Pelidra
Correct.
in disguise. Correct. Thank you very much. I'd forgotten about
I don't know,
it.
we did speak to someone of the Rangers Guild.
You did speak to Seven at the Rangers Guild, but you
Yeah,
finished up with Lady Pelidra.
Yes, correct.
yeah.
Correct.
So, as Lady Pelidra leaves the room and leaves you all standing in the Silver Knight Tavern, I hand over. It's about 3 p.m.
And this is the day
Yeah.
before we head out.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just still stood there stunned and shocked at what I witnessed of disguising. That's, still throwing Kiavo for a loop at how impressive that is.
weren't we meant to meet Nathaniel in the Silver Knight?
Well, we're there, so I guess we can go down and take a look, see if he's
Yeah.
around.
Let's have a look around.
That was too
Bad.
soon.
Bad timing for James.
Yeah, so as you head down the stairs, the tavern's got a few people in it. You notice a grumpy old dwarf sitting in the corner with an overly large feathered quill, making some notes of some sort. You notice two blue-hatted wizards from the Mages Guild engaged in a furious debate. You do see Nathaniel sitting over in one corner, but he's not drinking alone. He's drinking with a very expensive-looking woman. Who looks very well kept. And he seems to be quizzing her, perhaps verging on interrogating. The bartender is behind the bar, and there you are.
Hmm. I think Torin would like to head over to the barkeep. Order himself a pint of ale. And just stand there all cool looking, waiting for his friends to come over. And you'll sort of give them like the
Cool. As you head up to the bar, Jorkan is behind the bar. Nice big fella, very broad-shouldered, arms like a blacksmith. He looks over at you and... Can I get you?
Let's flanklet of ale. Good man.
One flagon of ale. Anything for your friends?
Are there stools at the bar? Okay, then I'll follow Torin over there and sit on one of the bar stools. Your finest red wine, please.
Ah, indeed. We have the last of the Sandringham batch. Let me get that for you. And he will head out the back and bring out a glass of finest Sandringham red.
Is he gonna do that thing where he puts a little bit in the glass for me to try?
He's selling you a bottle. He's just selling you a glass. He'll pour you a glass. And... You think this is some kind of posh winery? That's it. Have 'em.
I will down it in one and say, "Hit me."
That's more like it. He'll give you another one, and we'll pretend it doesn't cost a bomb.
I'm gonna like swivel it in the glass and then like smell it, like floral fruits and nuts.
And then naked.
No, I will pace
Oh, okay.
myself.
This one you're pacing yourself with. Okay, excellent.
Torin's sort of just like staring at Sebastian, just like.
What the hell?
Anything for your other friends?
I'll turn around and then look back. No.
Excellent. Very well then. And he'll charge you, but it's minimal cost. And yeah, go
Thank you,
ahead.
Joker.
So, what's going on with those mages over in the corner then?
Who are you asking that question?
I'm just asking you in general, just like
Me?
what's going on in the mages.
They're having
over
a
the corner, yeah.
furious argument with each other. It's a verbal argument. They're not throwing things at each other.
Fair enough.
If you wish to go
Are they
closer
like
and
especially
listen
loud,
in.
or is it just like your regular? like-
Yes, they're being quite loud, but even Chiavo is a little confused as to exactly what they're talking about. Because they're referencing mages of old. So it'll be sort of like, no, Alexander said you've got to do it with the left side, and then the other one's going, no, Ollivander most definitely said that you must use an extra dimensional space for that. You know, they're very much debating something that is going over the head of everybody else. Chiavo, you might understand some of the references, but not necessarily the basis of their argument.
I wonder if the book would understand. Oh, I'll pull out my book and ask a question. Do you overhear these two arguing here? Do you understand the context of what they're actually discussing here? It's
I'll
something
listen in
about
for a few
magic
minutes.
that you might know. I feel.
Look, listen in for a few minutes. Character sheet. Nice.
Does the book have a name, by the way?
Yes.
I don't have it written down.
No, you don't.
Okay, fair enough.
The book told you there was power in a name. Why would he give his name to you? Okay, well, yes, the book knows. So after a while, it will... Well, any idiot would know, but unfortunately, they're both incorrect completely. They speak of the provisional use of spells like Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum and Magnificent Mansion. And they speak of the nature of the enchantments upon them and how they might become permanent and various other things, but quite frankly, everything they're saying is complete nonsense. They're just making it up, trying to impress each other.
Right. Okay.
They reference certain wizards that were old even when I was around, but frankly, nobody really knows what wizards at that time were doing. certain works are ascribed to them. One of them mentioned Melf a moment ago. He created the acid arrow spell, of course, but other than that, not much is known about Melf. I think he the minute meteor spell as well. Anyway, you done bothering me, fool?
Yeah, that's all. Thanks. That's
Very
insightful and interesting. And I'll just pack my book up and set that back in my sling.
I'm gonna. Sorry, go on, Jim.
I was just gonna say I was going to message to Nathaniel and just say, sorry to intrude, Nathaniel. Hennick Littlefield, across the bar. We've spoken before. Wondering if we should come over now or leave you alone with this woman.
By all means, come on over. And in fact, he will then turn to you and come on over. And then he, as you arrive, he turns around and this is Veda. She's a friend, most interesting friend. We travel the same noble circles. She was a good friend of Lord Porrenk. In fact, she danced with him many times. We were just discussing potential suspects.
Well,
So far,
I think
I've drawn the list down to 4.
Do tell.
Well, the
Nathaniel.
first is Avella. The jealous lady Avella was slighted by Porrenk once when, after a dance, she asked if he would be returning home, and replied, "Yes, but without you." He may be upset. The lady Adina is known to potentially arrange the assassination. A couple of slights. She should always be on the table as a the lady Lana, of course, is a suspect. She made it known in certain circles that she did have the power, perhaps command an assassin. Certainly she. And then he turns his head slowly back to the woman. My 4th suspect is Lady Veta here. I cannot possibly be a son. Ridiculous. Porrenk and I were friends. We danced together many times. Looks at her and... Ah, yes, but single. Interested in Porrenk. Danced with him regularly, and yet... No home with him, did you? That's besides the point. I was quite aware of Lord Porrenk's choices in bed partner. Knew my luck was not going to happen. Nevertheless... Well, finally offended.
Oh, Lady Veda, what are Porring's bed partners?
Let us just say that none of them were busty like I. Sort of does a motion towards her chest.
Aye, not many are.
In fact, if I could grow hairs from my chest instead, Lord Porrenk might still be alive.
Well,
Right.
we had a bit of a run-in with I guess a guard who was working for you, and was tracking down someone from the Assassins Guild there, and well, we're sort of the mind that unpleasant gentleman did not do it, but I'm not really sure exactly what else that guard was going on. Do you have anything besides just these motives and a few names?
Well, the assassination was executed well. And in one simple dagger pull. Implies to me that somebody... There were some tracks in the house. Led back to... So... they are wanting to investigate me.
Yes, and this run-in with Dusk, I believe a cleric in the area cast a zone of truth on him, and well, he answered truthfully, and
Dusk was never hoped that he professional courtesy if declare it not failures. There are a couple of other since what, 80, for example. We'll hand you a small cutting of door frame.
James, you're cutting out for me.
Am I? Oh. Any better? Cool. Am I still cutting out?
I don't think so.
Sing us a song. Sing us a song, and maybe we'll.
How about no? Yes, go ahead, Sebastian.
Surely the lace doesn't only suggest woman. He could be into femboys.
Nathaniel sort of looks
Yes.
at you and I would like to profess that I know not what they are, but in investigating this murder, it would seem that certain things have come to light. Nevertheless, I most definitely can assure you that that is not something Lord Porran could be. He had his ways, but they were his ways.
Look,
That's
I'm not judging, okay? I'm just saying.
No, indeed. I am but assuring you that. Besides, this lace comes from a ball gown. Clearly. Clearly, the pleating of it is one of the most recent fashions. In fact, there was a ball most recently where numerous women wore dresses of this kind. And then you'll see in a very sort of camp manner, he sort of puts his hand on the edge of the pleating. Look here at the type of stitching, just as band around the backside. You know that that's one of the most finest recent fashions. You're getting the impression that perhaps he knows a little too much about women's lace than he should, but he will also be most definitely able to assure you that it did not belong to a boy.
Nathaniel, might we borrow that piece of lace?
Well, indeed, if you're investigating, so you should have the clues. The second clue comes with this, and he will show you just a touch of paint. He is actually a piece of wood with a touch of paint on it. This here is from the table in the hallway where Porran would leave his keys. It would seem that somebody has bumped into it, and I believe this to be nail varnish. An expensive brand. Oh. And finally, there is this account. He will hand you a piece of paper, and on it is written the account of a halfling who was a carriage driver that night. The halfling claims that he drove past Lord Porring's house twice. And the first time the door was open and Lord Porring was stood outside with Nathaniel. The second time the door was minorly ajar and walking out was a woman of slight figure. Her hair appeared to be dark in colour. She wore bright red lipstick and had a small laugh as she left the. She did not have an interest in taking carriage.
Did the carriage driver care to mention the attire of this woman?
No, only that she was cloaked in black. A well-worn cloak can, of course, disguise most of what somebody's wearing if you see them from the side or back.
I think you may have.
Go on.
You may have said there, but this woman, Lady Veta, not slight-figured.
Oh, she's slight. She just has rather
Oh, she
large
is.
cleavage.
Right.
In general,
Well, then
she
being-
is.
Being too stupid to really think through the investigative part of all of this, Henrik is going to go with the only part that he can do and turn back to her and just sort of say, well, you're a bit slight of figure yourself there. Ever wear any red lipstick? And then read as much as he can about her response.
Oh, yes, I most definitely wear red lipstick on a regular basis. In fact, I have also worn purple nail varnish, and I was most likely wearing a black lace dress that night. Nevertheless, I did see Lord Porring as a friend, and indeed would love to assist with the investigation, as it will never arrive with my name at the end of it. You may
Especially if
insight
you're the
roll.
one helping with the evidence.
Well, indeed. I could turn it away from myself, couldn't I? But no, not the killer.
It's 22 insight for anything I might glean.
So you get the impression that she's being mostly truthful. She would have worn red lipstick, nail varnish, and black lace. And Lord Porring was indeed a friend. Was she particularly upset to see him go? He also doesn't appear particularly actually upset about being accused.
Okay, so we need to find out what she could have gained from
But
it.
she does seem quite the prideful woman. And I could get the idea that if she thought she could get away with telling you she'd done it, she would. But perhaps she doesn't think. Yeah, and I can't give you much more than that, which is probably not very helpful, but still.
Right.
But indeed, what would anybody have to gain from Orink's death? Is that a question you're asking Nathaniel?
No, I'm just
Oh.
as a person saying that to people.
That's how I say most things as a person to people.
Oh, and be that as it may, yeah, I think Nathaniel will sort of look to you, and I can think of a couple of lines of inquiry, perhaps, that maybe they cannot make. The husbands of these ladies. Not because they would have been involved in the killing. They might know what their wife was up to.
All were married?
No. All but one. Gestures to Lady Veta. He just...
Okay. Torrin will ask for the names of the husbands for reference.
So, Avella is married to Lord Montash.
Lord Montash.
Yep. Edina is married to one Jaziel.
He sounds a bit fruity.
Ziel. It might be noted that Jaziel is an elf, so yes, definitely mildly
Definitely fruity.
Yeah, a little bit. Suspect.
And the lady Lana is married to down here. I know he runs a shop. Let me find out. Malphas. He is a barber and surgeon. Very sharp knives. And then, of course, Veta is single.
Mm-hmm.
A black widow, you might say.
Well, she looks at you. Any other questions for me?
Sebastian's gonna look at his now empty glass. Then he's gonna say, "Oh no, would you look? My glass is empty." Roll his eyes and then walk back to the bar.
Do I take that as a no then?
Well, I have to say I'm feeling about the same way about this conversation. Seems to have run dry. I'm not... Well, you don't seem quite as upset as you make out to be, madam, but
I
don't
see
have
no
any...
reason that a man should be allowed to dance with who he please and never show more interest than that. But if a woman was to do so, she would be called ease, slattern.
Likely not murdered, however.
Well, perhaps you misjudge politics. Here in... We're not in Lorwallen, shit. Here in Harbondon. I was about to say here in Lorwallen. Here in Harbondon. Life is cheap.
Perhaps so. Too bad. But yeah, I think we'll have to look elsewhere, folks.
And she turns
Yes,
back to Nathaniel, and these gloves, however, far from cheap. She pulls on these long black gloves with fur at the top, and I think I'll be going. She looks at the bartender, and Nathaniel's got the bill. Walks out.
Any reason
Good
for any
evening.
of us to follow her, guys?
Well, I was gonna suggest maybe we could have someone message her and have arrange some sort of like a side meeting with her away from Nathaniel, but I wouldn't know how Torin would be able to facilitate that, given that he's A, an idiot, B, doesn't have like the ability to do so.
Hey, an idiot. I love it.
Oh dear.
But for the time being, Torin will sort of turn to Nathaniel and say, "Well, Nathaniel, thank you for this information and this evidence. We shall look into it, I believe."
Oh, very good. And I wish you luck.
Could I tail her?
Yeah, very much so. As you pop out the door after her, give me a stealth check. And what are you doing with your glass of red wine?
Well, downing it, and I'm gonna
Okay.
roll these at disadvantage because he's a bit tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a 10.
Yeah, you pop out. There's a lot of hustle and bustle going on out here. You don't think you've been spotted? Follow along.
Just kind of like hands on legs, like move.
Yeah,
Move.
okay. And for this, actually, I'm gonna... we'll use the party counter as you're following her, as she walks through the market. She leads you up to a market stall that appears to be selling wooden pieces of jewelry. She browses for a moment before continuing onwards. She stops at a small sweet roll seller is the word I'm looking for. Sweet roll seller, and she purchases one. She will continue onwards. Then, after a while, she'll lead you back almost entirely to the Silver Knight Tavern. She will stop outside a building 2 doors down, and she will tap lightly upon the door before opening it.
I will copy her.
You tap lightly upon the door, and as you go to open it, it appears to be locked. She reaches the door open, reaches back, opens the door, and holds it open for you and gestures. Please do come on in, if you wish.
I know what this building is.
No?
Okay, then I'm just gonna like put like one arm like rested on the door frame, like slip, and then try and rest it again. I'm just gonna look up at her. She like jazz.
She looks at you. Yes, like jazz. You know what the worst feeling is? A long evening of making out between the sheets and waking up with hair in your mouth.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
I mean that perhaps you are going to be pursuing a lady of...
Oh. No. Even if I was, I wouldn't go for you. I don't go for anyone, thankfully. I mean,
stop you following me through the market stall. Would you like a sweet roll?
no,
and
thank
offers you
you.
one.
You're my prime suspect, actually.
Oh, good, lovely. Would you like to come upstairs? I'm about to meet with my lawyer.
No, thank you. I don't trust you alone in anyone's house. Look what happens to the last guy. And
There's
then he'll
nobody's
like
house full.
like judgy, squinty look at her, like, hmm.
This is nobody's house full. This is the most eligible establishment of lawyers.
Do you need that many just in case you get caught?
No, it just so happens that mine works here. Are you being intentionally dense?
I'm gonna like, and then pull out of wherever I've been keeping 7 bottles of wine, and pull out one and like use my claw to take out the cork
Mhm.
and take a swig. So was it you?
Yes, I did it all. Obviously. Now I'm coming to see my lawyer about how I can hide it. No, you fool, I've told you. He was a friend.
Friends can kill friends.
They can, I didn't. Yes, it's within my means. Yes, I could easily have done it. Yes, I did stand to benefit in some ways. No, I didn't do it.
I think that's all the information I need. Follow me, and then I'll just. I won't even notice whether or not she's following me, but I'll just walk back to the tavern.
Yes. Rico, are you good? Oh, no. Okay, good. Glad we cleaned that. You need to
dear.
stretch again, Josh. I'll move us back to the roll. Have a strange half a Rico. Oh, there he is. Welcome back. So yes, she won't follow you in the slightest. But when you return to the tavern to your friends, I guess they're currently discussing how they might continue the investigation.
I was gonna say I think we're probably discussing where the fuck did Sebastian go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
what on
Natasha
earth
probably
has he gotten
saw
up
him
to?
bobbing out after
Okay, okay, fair.
after better.
You know Sebastian, he's probably just doing his thing, giving the eyes to some random beggar trying to steal their money.
Now, speaking of the devil, Sebastian.
Torin.
That sounded like there was too much shade in that. Sebastian, what's gotten
Well,
into you?
well, where did you go?
Oh, I just went for a walk, spoke to some people, was offered a poisonous pastry.
Poisonous pastry.
Yeah, the woman, she admitted to doing it. Well, she said that she could do it, she could get away with it, that she would have something to gain from it. She's currently talking to her lawyer now about how to get away with it.
Which woman, Sebastian?
She said she'd follow. She said she was gonna follow, but clearly guilty, she didn't.
Better.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I know,
I
but
know.
I know, but I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know if Josh knows the name of the woman.
Well, I got the impression she was a mighty proud lady and, well, proud of perhaps the wrong things and would gladly have admitted to doing it if she thought it would make her look impressive. I couldn't tell, however, if it was that she wasn't admitting it because she didn't do it and therefore couldn't claim this grand deed, or if she thought she would not quite get away with it. Knowing that she, well, even in your state, readily admitted it to you in some fashion, suggests perhaps it is the case that she simply didn't do it and therefore can't take credit for it.
Should we investigate these other women that Ponk has named out for us?
I don't think the dead man has listed the names. Heads up, Rico.
Nathaniel. Nathaniel. has listed-
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
Nathaniel.
That's
Yes.
so good. I think that's brilliant. I may have died, but I've left a list of suspects on the left.
Yeah, it could have been.
Oh, if only we could just contact the spirit of Ponk. That would solve everything, wouldn't it?
Ah, the spirit of Ponk dead more than 10 days, unfortunately.
Damn.
Anyone have memories of the fallen?
In like a month. They go do shit.
Oops.
Nathaniel looks at you and did you plan on heading to see anybody in particular? Or were you hanging around here and hoping they might just pass by?
Well, as soon as I finish my my ale, I believe we'll get to it. Not to worry, Nathaniel.
It's just many adventurers said they will assist, but nobody seems to have made any headway, and
Understood.
I can't remember from before, guys, if we are 100% sure for some reason that he's not involved direct, like...
Yeah, no, I think that we're slightly suspicious of Nathaniel.
I think Sebastian was slightly suspicious, but nevertheless, the rest of you had quickly discerned that he was the only person investigating this murder in the entire city, which is a really cool way of deflecting guilt from yourself, but when nobody
But,
else is
yeah.
investigating, there's not much reason
And
to
he doesn't
do
seem to be
so.
getting anything out of the investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
So
More like a scorn lover, basically.
yeah, Sebastian's kind of suspicious of everyone on the mere fact that he doesn't particularly care. So he's just throwing accusations just to keep himself entertained.
Helpful.
Is we know that she's going to speak to a lawyer.
She is.
But you don't know it's about that.
Yeah,
You could
no,
be speaking to
yeah,
a lawyer about sorting out a house deed or something. For
Yeah,
you
some
know.
sort of real estate deal that she's been.
I'm sure that's exactly what she wants you to think. But I don't think so.
Well, shall we split up? Each take a suspect. Or shall we
I
we
never
all
know.
visit them?
Why
Or
have
shall we visit them together?
I mean, maybe 2 groups, but I wouldn't have us all go our separate ways.
I agree with Henrik.
Thank you.
I'm in agreement as well. I would be rather useless.
That much is true. But that won't change if you just split into 2 groups. Nevertheless, did you have a particular grouping in mind?
I think that we need to split up Hannik and Natasha because they probably have the best insight of any of us.
And if you put Sebastian with Natasha, then that will be the correct covered.
Okay, let's do that.
So with Henrik and, well, where Kiara goes is probably quite irrelevant.
I don't
But
have any
we
magics that
should
can help
take it
with
because
this.
he at least theoretically has intelligence, and
Yeah, exactly.
we're not the brightest.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. Sounds good to me.
Touche.
Very well. Okay, to whom are we going to visit?
Who's our options again? Let's run by it one more time.
So we have Avella, the wife of Lord Montash. We have Edina, the wife of Jaziel, the fruity elf. We have Lana, the wife of Malphus, the merchant of some sort. shop
Barber
owner.
and surgeon.
Barber and surgeon. And alternatively, we can investigate the lace, the nail polish.
Well, I would assume that you would. That
within
was
the-
a part of your investigation with them, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, we could, like, scour the merchant district, maybe find the shop that sold said dress, or find the apothecary
an
that would have sold the
excellent
nail polish. Oh. Why, thank you.
Yeah, well, a barber. If we're going to talk to the husbands, it was close enough to a typical trade. I think I have a good in with the gentleman. I could speak to him, and it might be near some of the shops and things. It's a possibility.
Right then, so group
Group Hennick.
what are we gonna call ourselves?
Hennick.
Group Hennick. Will
Group panic, yeah.
shall
Well, no, come on.
For
Not all
now,
about
just from my logic, Group Hennick is going to Malphas. Group Natasha with Sebastian in tow. Did you wish to visit Avella or Dina?
I think we should go for Dina. And as me and Natasha
Sebastian just wants to meet a fruity elf.
go on the way. What?
Sebastian just wants to meet a fruity elf.
I'll have you know,
Don't
thank
we
you
all?
very much, that Sebastian is asexual. So fuck you.
Natasha is not, however, so let's go.
Well,
Right.
on the way, I'm gonna suggest to Natasha that maybe we go not as investigators. If we pretend to be world famous dressmakers, we could get a look into wardrobes,
Sebastian,
makeup.
have you seen what I wear?
Well, yeah, I wasn't suggesting you'd be the one. You'd be my example of what we can turn into.
And you think of this as a good plan?
Well, what's your plan?
I sometimes wonder where your mind runs to.
What?
Perhaps your feline instincts are becoming overtly present.
Natasha, what's your big idea then? He'll gesture with his staff.
Well, seemingly people just carelessly enjoy talking about their deeds in Harbondon, so we could just ask.
Just ask if they're the murderers. Sure, let's go. And he'll just start walking.
Okay.
Well, I know Natasha will, like, okay, can I continue?
Yeah, of course you can.
Natasha will, like, adjust her bag and, like, step further because obviously you're a cat, you move faster. Well, it's not like people have had any concerns in reveling in their deeds prior to this. I mean, we met the assassin in the middle of the town center, and they promptly told us that they had committed a crime. So,
But that was an assassin. We're talking about a lady of the court.
well, I see your point. I doubt that I might make myself sound like a posh whatever you've described, but if that is your plan, I'm willing to at least try it. I've read some books about nobility and how they behave. I might be able to perhaps emulate some of those behaviors.
It's okay. You can be my assistant. I've got this covered.
And what would my motivation be as your assistant?
To help me.
I
That's why
see.
you're my assistant.
And what will my name be?
Your name would be Vadgana.
Bad Killer. Could you call me Vanya as a nickname?
Yes. I'm not a bad boss. I will give you that privilege.
Okay, I think I am willing to attempt this plan, as you call it. But if it fails, what shall we do?
If it fails, then we will, well, they're nobles. I'm sure they'll just throw a glass of wine in our face and tell us to be gone. So it'll be fine.
Oh, I don't really like wine, but all right, let's try it.
It's okay. I'll try and jump in the way of yours and get yours too.
You're headed to Tranquility Avenue. If we pull up our little map. Well, you were talking and walking. Tranquility Avenue is pretty expensive. Tranquility Avenue is also in a different country. Ignore me.
Right.
Yes, ignore me. We're not headed there at all. You're instead headed to a noble house over here, opposite the Jewelers Guild. And as you arrive at the house, where you've been directed by Nathaniel, it looks fairly well to do, fairly posh, fairly well kept. There's a lovely garden outside with strawberries growing.
Is there a doorbell?
Indeed. There is a literal ding 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 bell.
Oh, okay. Then I'm assuming I can't reach it.
No,
I'll
you
turn
cannot.
it. I'll turn it. Vanya, could you?
Sure, Sebastian.
No, my name is Dr. Weigenheinen.
Of course, Doctor. Ding dong.
When you ring the doorbell, within moments, an elf comes to the door. He's wearing an sort of open collar white shirt and a pair of pantaloons. And fantastic! You must be the 4 o'clock appointment. Come on in. Thank you very much. Come in. Take a seat. Take a seat. Oh, no time for talking. Come on, sit down.
I'll just walk in. Come on, Vanya.
Excellent. Now, take a seat. Hi, Jaziel, of course. I just, well, as you might know, the wife's been having some, you know? And I understand that perhaps if a normal marriage that live together a little more often. But I think once a month is quite enough, really. And she's having some problems with fertility. I was most assured that you would be able to fix them.
We will indeed. My name is Dr. Weigenheinen, and this is my assistant, Vanya.
Natasha, Vanya.
Yes, my assistant, Vanya.
Natasha
She has
Vanya! What a
yes.
name!
Yes.
Rolls off the
But
tongue.
yes, she's very good at what she does.
Well, if I will you be needing to speak with her, perhaps? It's just I haven't really told her about this appointment. She
Yeah,
seems
could
to
we
think it's
speak?
she seems to think it's my problem. She says that I should be devoting more efforts to our sexual interactions, but well, what other things to do?
That's
Well, fertility doesn't necessarily come from two people. It might be an issue with just one person, or it
Yes,
might.
and I expect that is the case, which is why you'll need to interact with her, right?
yes. Is she here at the moment?
Oh, indeed, yes, she is.
Oh,
Just bear me a
what's
moment.
she?
And as he walks down the corridor, he opens what looks like a cupboard door, and he goes, "You can leave now." And shuts it back in, and you see sort of a half-dressed man in the cupboard, and he just sort of shuts the door on the man and leads you down the corridor. Um,
Sebastian, I think I can take this. I used to study fertility back in Sandringham.
Okay.
so as the two of you head down the hall, he leads you up to his wife's spinning room. To get up there, you see that she is currently developing something on a wheel. She looks like she's in the process of getting something for herself. And on the wall, you see various dresses, most of them spilling over with lace. She turns to you. Her lips are painted. She's got dark shadow on and black hair that runs long down her back. Turns to you. Oh, can I help you?
Hello, I am Dr. Weigenhagen,
A doctor?
and this is my pupil and assistant, Vanya. Vanya, say hello.
Hello, milady. It's a pleasure to be in your presence.
She looks to her husband. Jazil, what is the meaning of this? They'll explain. And then he sort of backs out the room and just shuts you in.
We're a couture fertility clinic. We help you give
Fertility
birth.
clinic?
Yes, we help you give birth, and then she'll look at Sebastian.
I highly doubt I'm going to be impregnated anytime soon by a flaccid member.
Well, now that is why we are here, my lady. There are many options for making a family.
Have you
Many
any
different-
spare men?
That could be a problem, but we will get to that when we get to that. It could just be that, well, it would be easier if we spoke to both of you at the
I
same time.
think it likely that you need to speak to the man who spends more time with his painted boys than he does with his wife. But that's my personal opinion.
Perhaps you could adopt a more masculine visage?
Perhaps you could adopt a more sensible visage. Otherwise, I might have to have you removed.
Now, forgive Vanya. She's not of this country. She
Oh, and that
doesn't-
so makes it okay to be crass.
It doesn't. My apologies, milady. She will be duly disciplined when we get back to the laboratory.
What?
What does this world come to when the house cat has better manners than the woman?
That's the world we live in, I'm afraid. Now, you say that your husband has a flaccid penis, and you believe that he is a homosexual, is that correct?
I do not believe anything. My husband is a homosexual. He flaunts it with his painted boys and talks about me behind his back as if I'm some kind of joke. They're all in on it.
Maybe leave him?
Well, that is all well and good, except... And she gestures round at the dresses, and... You don't think I'm going to go to work, do you, darling?
Well, maybe, Sebastian, I will leave you with the lady of the house while I go talk to the husband.
Yes, it is best that you take your block-like face out of my presence.
Okay.
As you walk out the door, she will just mutter to Sebastian, "Uncultured swine. Farm girl."
Oh, tell me about it. You cannot get the staff these days.
She looks at you and...
But she was cheap, so it works out.
She looks at you and she's going to well, fertility, was it?
Yes, I'll take out one of the bottles of wine. Do you have a glass? Perhaps you'd be more comfortable talking about this over a glass of the finest in the county.
I highly doubt you've brought that. And with that, she'll head over to a drinking desk. She'll open it, take out 2 crystal goblets for deep red burgundy. Hand you a glass. Now, we discuss why you're really here.
I'm sorry.
You are no fertility doctor. So,
Am I not?
no.
Well, I have a diploma in my laboratory that says otherwise.
Yes, and I have a dead fertility doctor in my back shed. My husband didn't book two at the same time. Even he's not that stupid. Now, please, what exactly were you doing here?
Sorry. Yeah. What was the doctor's name?
Oh, Doctor Raleigh. I don't know. Didn't pay too much attention, to be honest. They said they were coming with a fertility clinic. I arranged to have him disposed. Now, anyway, back to the point. What exactly can I do for you? Why are you here? Music's taken on a martial theme, hasn't it? I think you're about to fight her. Spare me a second.
I mean, I'm getting there. I'll swivel the drink in the crystal goblet and take a sip before looking.
Good wine.
Is it? Okay,
Sorry.
thank you. I'm glad you know. What do you know of?
Porring?
What was his name again?
Lord Porring?
Pouring,
Yeah.
pouring.
What do you know of Lord Porring?
Dead. Thank the gods.
Yes, I was more thinking something I didn't know.
Well, let's just say that he was part of this circle my husband operates in. There are 4 or 5 of them. Gentlemen who take wives and then choose to ignore them. Some sort of badge of propriety while they frolic in their noble ways. Lord Porring at least had the decency not to marry a woman. He only danced with them.
And when he passed,
Conveniently, yes.
yes, you might say, what happened to your status?
Nothing. Porring was a little mosquito sucking on the life of ability, and frankly, I think he encouraged some rather stupid games between the gentlemen frolicked with.
What games?
They got the servants involved. It, let's just say it got out of hand a couple of times, I think. They had to start covering their backsides, which is an unfortunate thing for men of their ilk to have to do.
She needs to make a wisdom save as Sebastian's eyes dilate.
That's a 6.
Yes. And my tail behind me slowly sways backwards and forwards. And what games were these that got out of hand?
Dangerous games, sexual games. I don't see why they're relevant.
Well, I'm curious as to what these games were. Perhaps my friend Vanya would also know a few gentlemen that would like to play.
Well, and so perhaps you should be speaking to my husband then. You have other questions? Why don't you just come out with it?
I'm
Ask it.
well confused.
Why?
Why?
Confused by.
Because she should be charmed.
She is charmed. She's answering honestly. Every
Is
question.
she? No, she's
Yeah.
not. She's averting the question.
No, she said they're playing dangerous sexual games.
And I said, what
doesn't-
dangerous games?
Did you? Oh, I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, games where not everybody has a choice in the matter. I'm trying to be a little discreet about it for the sake of, well, you know, all of those people that might be listening.
Who
Watching.
could be listening? We're in your home.
The Twitch chat, Josh, I can't be any more specific about their dangerous sex games. Good God, take a hint.
What's this Twitch chat you talk about?
Get on with it. Next question, please.
Anyways, I'll take another swig of the wine. Jesus. Okay. So some people. Okay.
Do you have
Maybe-
any idea what you're doing, young man?
What? I'm saying this in my. I'm
Yes, I
thinking-
know, but look at you. You don't even know what you're going to ask next, do you? What is
Yeah.
this? Some kind of investigation?
Yes, I do know what I'm going to ask
Well,
next.
do go on then.
Yes. Where did you get this wine?
That question. The lady Bella bought it for me. A gift. It's my last birthday.
He'll suddenly like look down because that's the woman who we spoke to earlier, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's
No,
not.
Bella
No,
is another
but it's
suspect.
one of the suspects. One of the suspects.
Bella is another suspect, but not the one you spoke to earlier. That was Veta.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's too many V's.
Oh,
Okay, that's
tragic.
he's okay. Interesting. And is that oak I'm smelling?
Quite possibly. You didn't come here to discuss wines either. So, my husband's sexual habits and wines. What is it you're trying to get to the bottom of, dear?
Okay, I'm gonna down the wine and. What is there like a sofa or something in this room?
No, there is one really comfortable armchair. She's sitting in it.
All right, then I'll just like put the glass on the floor and roll it.
He completely ignores it. Like,
I don't care. I'm here to see if we can find out if you are the woman who did this murder.
murder? Oh, Lord Porring. Oh, why would I have bothered with that? It wasn't even my husband's favourite.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you was sick and tired of your husband frolicking with others, like you just have said to us many a times over.
Well, and
You're
if that
very-
was the case, Malphas would be lying dead, not him.
Unless this is just one little part of your skeevy plan.
Oh,
I'm on to
indeed,
you.
indeed, and so you are. But no, Lord Porring, I killed. Oh goodness, that poor little Nathaniel put you up to this, didn't he? They were lovers, genuine lovers, actually. Quite sad.
I'm gonna walk over to a chair and put one arm on the
Mhm.
arm because I'm assuming it's like up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
there.
it's a yeah.
Yeah. Look, and then, like his eyes are like a bit tired, and like takes him a while to open back.
I'm gonna cut you right there. Natasha, you headed down to back down to the Lord Jaziel, or no, sorry, not Lord Jaziel, just Jaziel. You notice him ushering this sort of dishevelled gentleman out the front door. And he turns, you're back downstairs. Can I help you?
Was that a late night delivery?
No, early morning.
Your wife doesn't seem too happy, if I may.
Well, I can't imagine she... What does she have to complain about? She has all the dresses she wants. She goes to all the dinners she wants. She looks like royalty all the time. She doesn't have a husband that she has to please or look after or fawn upon. What on earth could be her problem?
Well, good sir, perhaps your habits are the things that are making her
Habits?
unhappy. Yes.
Which habits?
Well, there is word on the streets that you take upon the male gaze more often than the female.
How very dare you!
Good sir, I am saying nothing but what I have seen with my own eyes.
You asked about my early morning delivery, and so he came over to model some clothing for me and
I was being
demonstrate
kind
some
with my
suits.
wording, good sir. Perhaps we should drop the ruse.
Fertility. Back.
I did not lie. I am indeed a fertility doctor.
Yes.
But
I'm
I was
Bahamut.
also a barkeep for many years, so gossip is not something that I am unfond of.
Okay, so you've come to gossip and possibly advise me on fertility, and where on earth is... He's not Lord Ralia, is he? Dr. Ralia, is he?
He is indeed Dr. Ralia, but I may assure you, good sir, I have no intention on perpetuating any gossip other than what is already known.
Give me a deception check on that one.
I'll for the.
You
the
said
main
he
one.
is Lord Dr. Ralia, and
Right.
he is contesting. No, he is not.
Well, I'll guidance myself. I'll touch. Touch
You're
my-
trying to beat a 21 on insight?
All right, he's a noble anyway, so I probably wasn't gonna beat it. I got a 12.
Yeah, sadly. Hesa looks at you and Well, be that as it may, I don't mind a bit of gossip myself, so what exactly is it that you come for? Come on, let me get you a coffee. And with that, he'll lead you into the kitchen, and he'll turn around and, Maisie, make us some coffee. Thank you, darling. Anyway, right, and then he'll sit at the table, and he puts sort of one leg over the other, and you can see he's completely dropped all pretense of being an aristocratic man, and is just, as camp as Christmas. And he turns to you, coffee in hand, and, well, what is it we're discussing?
Well, perhaps we can exchange certain secrets.
Oh my, do you like it? Go on, you first.
Well, you and your wife are suspects of an ongoing investigation. Were you aware of
Oh,
such things?
juicy. No, well, I mean, my wife's always a suspect in some murder or other, but I didn't realize I was implicated. Go on, do tell. What are the juicy details? Who
I've
died?
exchanged a secret with you. I believe it is your turn, good sir.
Oh, I occasionally sleep with men.
That is not a secret, sir.
Oh, but it is. And he smiles and laughs. Anyway, who died? Come on, spill the tea.
My lord, perhaps you could exchange a secret I did not know.
Well, how am I supposed to know what's in your little head?
Well, do you know of anyone your wife might have taken revenge upon? No,
I would suppose Dr. Ralia is probably lying in a passage somewhere. Woman's got connections, many connections. She's always adjusting the structure of the court, if you would. Well,
Are you
but
insinuating that my companion is in danger?
oh, good lord, no! You don't think she does it herself, do you? Goodness me, no. She has men for that. Big, bulky men, funky men, in fact.
I must ask, good sir, if you are aware of your habits and of your wife's unhappiness, why do you choose to pursue this life?
As I said before, have absolutely no idea why she's unhappy. She has everything she could want.
Love, perhaps, my
Oh,
lord?
goodness me, that's overrated.
Indeed, but many of us do seek it.
I don't think my cold-hearted bitch of a wife is one of them. I think she just feels a little embarrassed in court that it may have got out that Lord Malthus and I had intertwined a couple of times, and when we tried to pass it off as a brandy tasting experience, but it didn't go down, and so it became word in the court, and my wife is embarrassed. And that's all it is. That's all it is. And she'll sort herself out soon enough. I don't think she's truly unhappy. Anyway, who died? I want to know.
Well,
come on.
I shall tell
Oh, the
you,
juicy
and that
tea.
will lead me to my next question.
Go on.
Was the victim?
Porank?
Yes.
Well, yes, of course, Porank. Porank was a good friend to all of us. Porank's home is where we used to meet. And he did shelter us so gently, and his love for Nathaniel was deep and true, and, well, if anybody was to pursue love, it was that man. He was quite the sap, and, well, he allowed us to be what we truly are at court. But Lord Porank was a great man, and, indeed, I would not be surprised if my wife had have attempted to have him removed.
Was Lord Poink involved with anyone else but Nathaniel?
Oh, goodness, no. The two of them were as loyal as anything to each other, deeply in love.
And
They didn't even engage in some of the more intense games that we played with some of the servants.
And
True love,
was
I tell
that
you.
involvement made public?
Porank and Nathaniel?
Yes.
No, I think it was quite a well-kept secret. Many do not know of Nathaniel's inclinations.
Were Lord Poink or Lord Nathaniel courting any ladies at the time?
Lord Porank was known to dance with the ladies, but never more than that. He's far too courteous to play pretend games with a wife like the rest of us. As to Lord Nathaniel, well, he is well known as an eligible bachelor, but also did not have the heart to pretend otherwise. Not like the rest of us.
Would there be anyone with a specific motive behind his assassination?
Yes. In fact, I could point my finger at any number of 4 women. The Lady Veta was repetitively scorned by him and made me personally embarrassed. But when it was revealed that Malthus and I were involved at Lord Porank's house, certain women in the court were embarrassed, and yes, my wife was one of them. Lady Lana would be the other, and the final would be Lady. All of them equally capable of murder most foul. So,
Well, knowing them, if you could place your money on one, who would it be?
I don't know the details of the murder. If it was executed by a man, then I would assume my wife hired them. If it was executed by a woman, I assume it was a Vala. The Lady Lana may have been involved in the paying of it, or even the planning of it, but she wouldn't get her hands dirty herself. As for Lady Veta, she's more direct. She would probably have called him out in public or something.
I see. Well, thank you for your honesty.
Well, thank
That is
you.
not-
I do enjoy a lovely morning gossip. And, oh, so much more exciting than the fertility clinic. Anyway, we better extract your fella, had we not? And with that, he'll lead you upstairs. And he sort of taps on the door, and then it just opens in. And he sees Sebastian leaning on the edge of the chair. He says, "Look, lady."
Sebastian, are you ready to depart?
Oh, a name! Excellent.
Oh,
Excellent.
Fanya.
Did you have
You
fun
might-
with this ruse?
I was
My
just
husband?
about to get her
Oh,
to-
not you! Get out! We're done with you. She looks to her husband and... Some sort of game? I thought it was the fertility clinic. It's a shame they didn't turn up, isn't it? Well, be that as it may, I do love some morning entertainment, but you can go now. I have a dress fitting in half an hour. And she just waves the two of you out of the room.
As we leave, I'll say, milady, perhaps your fertility issues might be mended with a fix in attitude. Good day.
Yeah, I'll follow Natasha out, kind of stumbling a bit. He's only a little body. He's probably pretty drunk by this point.
Excellent. And we will flick over to Hennick and Torin and Chiavo as you were headed to Lord Malphas. Is that correct?
Yeah, like Merchant
Yeah.
District, Lord Malthus, and other
As
places.
you arrive at Malphas's establishment, you see that this is a hairdresser's and a surgeon's. Queuing inside are a few ladies of clearly noble heritage. So some of them with their hair sort of pinned up or in rollers or whatever. And sort of cutting hair is this gentleman. He has long black hair and is wearing a slight shade of lipstick. His cheeks are painted and his eyes are painted. He looks over to you and, "Oh, well, most certainly you're not here for a haircut. Might I help you?"
Yeah, Hennick sort of pulls off his conical straw hat, and there's just this scraggled mass of hair, and he sort of runs his fingers through it a little bit, and then, yeah, this is not really a business call, unfortunately, but I don't know if you have a moment to speak, perhaps in private.
Oh, most definitely. Is that one coming with you? And he points towards Chiavo.
Well, he certainly has more hair.
Yes, but I find an interest in it for another reason. Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
we-
be that as it may, please
stick
come on.
together.
Have a private room out the back. Ladies, get yourself some rosé. I'll be with you shortly. And with that, he sort of swishes his cloak and leads you out into his back room. This back room is very suspicious. There is a desk, a bed, and a thick pair of curtains over the window. Sits behind his desk and puts one leg up on the table. And, well, to what do I owe the pleasure of such dashing gentlemen?
I think Hennick is like a little reluctant to walk into this room, sort of keeping to himself.
That's where you're flanked by two very dashing gentlemen.
Yes. Well,
I was gonna say Torin probably mentioned get much like after seeing the bed, get much sleep in here, Lord Master Malphus.
None at all.
I didn't think
Of
so.
course not.
Well, I'm assuming that we are not about to engage in a foursome of epic proportions. So, what is it I might help you with?
well, nothing so grand, but well, we had some questions to ask. Your name and your wife's name had come up.
They don't come
Yeah.
up often together.
I suppose not. Well, I think I'll come
Perhaps
right
more
to the point.
separately than together. Yes.
Lana and I have an excellent agreement. What is it that she has got my name caught up in?
Well, we were sort of looking into what interest she might have had in the death of a fellow named Porink.
Oh, Porink was such a wonderful chap. Oh, such a delight. Oh, and we lost him in such tragic circumstances. It was really quite a horrible story. And I did for a while suspect my wife's involvement, but when I asked her about it honestly, she simply told me that she wouldn't do such a thing to me. She was quite happy with the way our arrangement worked, and as long as I kept up my monthly stipend and allowed her to spend as she wished, then wouldn't ever do such a thing. But she did perhaps insinuate that some of her friends might have been involved. And I did want to investigate it further because Lord Porink was such a dear friend, but, well, frankly, a gentleman like me can't be seen to be dirtying his nose, you know? Oh, never mind.
Are we buying? Are we buying his?
Give me an
his
insight
sympathy?
check. I'm assuming not from Torrent, from Hennick.
I'm gonna throw it out anyway.
If I'm allowed
With
as
a
well,
17.
I certainly
Anyone as
will.
well? Yeah, no. I'm buying it.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah,
got a 17.
he most definitely is somebody who would struggle incredibly to hide his emotions in any way whatsoever. He is gushingly sad about Lord Porink, but he's also got a reputation to maintain and therefore hasn't investigated the murder. He also 100% believes that his wife is completely clean in this situation. He will continue to say, I do know that she's perfectly capable of lying to me, and well, I probably wouldn't see the light from the trees, but I don't think she'd have any reason to do that to me. Personally, I keep her well, you know, and she most definitely knows about my engagements. She has no expectations, and my goodness, I think she sleeps with more men than I do.
I see.
Well, we
You can
have
speak with her if
gotten,
you like. She's having her head on outside. I can bring her in.
perhaps in a moment. That seems
Mhm.
sensible, I suppose.
Or perhaps
but,
I'll let you speak to her without all the juicy gossip.
Well, I
comes out.
suppose it occurs to me, if we're fully persuaded that your wife had nothing to do with it, we have to make sure that you yourself wouldn't have anything to do with it. I mean, well, we
At this point, he sort of stands up and, excuse me. Lord Porink made headway for all of us in our circle. He made it okay to be as we are. He made sure that we had a place of safety. We had people protecting us on the street when we came to meet with each other discreetly. He valued love above all else. He was a most fabulous man. You insinuate that I had something to do with it. How dare you? Don't believe it.
well, we did have that impression of Porink that he was very earnest in these things.
Yes,
and,
he was.
Well, the issue becomes sometimes when a fella is that earnest about advocating, he might be the one to not keep things as quiet as others might like.
Oh, indeed, and Porink may well have brought his death upon himself, but my goodness, did he not bring it from me. Any of us. I most definitely think when you seek the murder of Porink, you will find a woman holding.
Yes, so we've been told.
Indeed, although maybe not, still could have been hired or that sort of thing.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't necessarily mean literally. There is a woman behind this murder. Who is
Well,
well
Martha's-
respected by both the men within our circle, if that so makes sense, and also by the regular men of the court. For
You seem to have some inside information, Malphus. Whom do you speak of?
what he's saying that Lord Porink was well respected by straight men and gay men alike, and will turn to you and yet he scorned many women, upset them on a regular basis. You can expect. And some of the men in our circle had wives far more jealous than mine, were far less aware of their agreement.
Do you perhaps have an inkling to who might be responsible for this murder?
If I truly wanted to know, I would simply ask my wife. Frankly, I don't want to know. I don't want to think about it too closely. The death of Porink was a tragedy. I said it would not do for me to dirty my nose.
That's understandable.
Fair enough, and we do apologize, Lord Malphus. You see, similarly to you, we have interest in bringing the murderer of Pouring to justice.
Well, and in that case, I wish you the best of luck. But as I said, if you really want to know who the murderer is, you should speak to my wife. Which little she doesn't know. Though, she can be expensive.
Expensive, you say?
I doubt she'll part with the information for free.
I'll look over at our treasurer.
Well, I'm not sure we can run a competition with the crowd.
Well, would you
I
like to
think we
speak
should
to her
speak
anyway?
nonetheless.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yes,
I'll
bring
get
her
her
in.
for you.
Thank you.
And he heads out the room, and soon afterwards, a woman comes in who is dressed head to toe in a leather catsuit. She has a sort of dark black whip at her side and a dagger on the other side, and her hair is pulled out into a ponytail. She looks at you. Why? The men were questioning. Surprised my husband managed to leave. With that, she sort of wraps her arm around Torin and sort of grabs at his chest muscles, and then puts her hand on Kiavo's arm muscles. And she sort of looks down at Hennick and,
Ma'am?
perhaps I've misunderstood the nature of this engagement. She sort of slowly reclines her hands back and then looks down at Hennick again and, "Oh, I with a pleasure, young man."
Well, we're looking into a rather fortunate business. Fellow murdered, and
Oh, business. Well, in that case, one moment, please. And she leans over towards the drinks cabinet. She gets herself out a crystal glass and pours herself a whiskey. She looks at you all, thinking about offering, and then just changes her mind. Sits down, takes a mouthful, and looks at you. Well, murder, you say? Murder most foul. Indeed, lots of murder in Harbondon. Which particular murder do we discuss?
yeah, it does seem to be quite a bit of it, unfortunately. We are, well, I think it's the entire idea here is that things are in the open between you and her husband. A friend
indeed.
of his by the name of Porank was killed, and we were pointed in your direction among some others.
Well, indeed. I could understand if I was the jealous type, but not me. I wouldn't really have achieved much, to be honest. It was a place of safety for my husband, and now, well, he has to do it more discreetly, or in his office. Ugh. Mixing work and pleasure. And then she'll take another mouthful and, well, yes, I can imagine that there are a couple of women that one might point their eye at, but, well, let's just say that I do have friends. Well, it cost a lot of money for me to put them under the carpet.
Well, I mean, I'd like to take you at your word, of course. I did one suggestion I did make to your husband, although he seemed quite genuine. Is sometimes it is those who are in the most stable of arrangements that are most threatened by changes to those. And Porank seems to have been one who might have wanted to shake things up at some point, things more public, accepted, that sort of thing.
He did mosey about the word that perhaps men like my husband should be allowed to act in public. But certainly those who had the most to lose were the wives of those men involved. Like me, but
I was
not
going to say,
me.
of which you are one.
Yes, but as I said, my husband and I have an excellent agreement, and trust me when I tell you I am not lacking for a man. Nor am I lacking for money. My husband does quite excellent business, you know. And speaking
Perhaps,
of which, 1,000 gold pieces into your murderer and proof will be given to you. With this, she sort of taps her nails upon the table. Any less
Well,
than
now,
that,
see,
and I don't think I'll be able to help you.
It's rather unfortunate that you would name a price you know we couldn't possibly meet and yet put us
Oh, you couldn't?
on the idea that you definitely know what's going on here.
Oh, goodness me. They haven't sent me poor investigators, have they? I haven't even got a bribe worth mentioning? Well, what use is that?
I wouldn't give you the 4 gold I have, ma'am.
And then she sort of looks up at Torin and, well, perhaps you could pay in time instead of money. Say, 12 hours?
12 hours, madam. is a little too much, perhaps even for your standards.
With that, she sort of stands up and she simply lifts her leg and places her heel upon your shoulder. Looks at you. I
How
don't think we
tall is
should
she?
make bets on that. She's 6'6".
Okay, fair enough.
And she puts her foot on your shoulder and says, I don't think we should
Jeez.
make any bets on that. 12 hours of his time or no deal. And with that,
We're,
she starts
in the
pushing
middle of
Torin
one
gently
job
towards the
already.
wall. Oh, well, that's such a disappointment. Her leg comes down and she motions to her dagger, sort of strokes it a little gently. In that case, it would seem, unfortunately, that our business is concluded. You can't pay, you don't find out. However, wives of those likely involved is the most I can.
Before we go, Lady Lana, a favor perhaps.
Oh, indeed, for you, quite possible. What is it you'd like?
And I'll bust out either of the piece of lace or the wood chip with the nail polish on it.
He takes
And
one
I'll
look at the
say,
piece of lace, and that's last month's fashion. Indeed. Well, Giselle's, I think.
Well,
No, wait. Yes, Giselle's, definitely. She will have made the dresses. I wore one myself like that a little bit. Other people that can afford that kind of wear would be Lady Avella Montache. Her husband keeps her very well. Possibly Adina if Jaziel was feeling particularly generous at the time. And the Lady Vetra, of course. She came into a large inheritance. Other than that, well, perhaps the Lord of Harbonden's wife, but well, I wouldn't be going about accusing her of murder. That might go down. And this, what exactly is this? She looks at the slightly painted block.
well, seems to be some sort of varnish for nails. Do you wear the color? And I'll have a look down at her hand.
Dark blood red. June.
I
I
figured.
wear no other colour dark. Indeed, that colour does look a little indicative of Lady Avella. What am I to say? As for where it came from, well, Giselle's probably sourced it from somewhere. Giselle's tends to dress the best. Occasionally the best of men. Regardless, I think that's all I can do for you, but I would suggest your line of questioning take you towards Lady Adina, Bella, and Vet. They're a circle unto themselves, you know. I am, of course, part of the circle, according to them. Just say that they're a useful sort.
Right, well, perhaps when we have more time in Harbonden again, milady.
You do drop by. Look forward to it. Open the door and you see her pull her ponytail out and pull her hair again. And she looks a little bit more gentle, but not much. And she walks through, and you will notice as she walks through the room that each of the women in there sort of give her a wide berth. And as she leaves, you notice that there is a note with a dagger through it on the table.
What does it say?
I would like to remind you that this murder did not come from the Nightblade.
Oh.
She has sort of for free told you that she's a member of the Nightblades, though not officially, as they're meant to be men only. And she is sort of staking her claim that she is definitely part of this.
Unless she is a man.
Unless she is a man.
Is it?
I wish I'd read on that twist.
What if these femboys that Josh
that's
is
one of
talking
those
about-
moments where a player suggests something, you're just like, I wish I was half as clever as that. Nevertheless,
good.
am I going to assume that both groups will converge upon the Lady Avella? Because you only have one
unless we still
victim
want to run
left,
through
right?
the Giselles or whatever.
I don't know. I was gonna say maybe run through Giselle's, but if we're
We
pretty
can go
certain
via
that it's-
Giselle's if you wish. But regardless, I think either way we will take a break at that moment and reunite the party.
That definitely ticked off some things at the very least. So
Good.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's a start.
Alright, we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the second half of Beldania. I believe we were investigating the murder of most foul of Porenk. And indeed, our group had reunited outside the house of... outside the shop of Malthus, the barbers. The perfect cut. Indeed, you were going to head via Giselle's Emporium, because you were in the merchant district, onwards to the Lady Avella's at Lord Montash's. Is that correct?
Sounds about
Indeed.
right.
Well, Giselle's Emporium is pretty difficult to miss. As you walk down the street, there is a building, sort of very elegant and well decorated, and outside is one large safety pin through the edge of the building. It says on the outside, Giselle's Emporium.
I do believe that this is the establishment that we've been looking for.
Are we all going in?
I certainly will.
I
Yeah.
think Sebastian is gonna wait outside and try and get as much fresh air as he can.
Okay.
You
I'll
okay,
head in.
Sebastian?
A little tipsy.
Oh.
But he's pissed.
Oh.
He's drunk.
Been drinking like all morning, all day.
Exactly.
Okay. But the
Oh,
rest of you
dear.
all head in, and you're met immediately by a halfling. She bows twice. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Giselle's Emporium. To what do I owe this pleasure, and how might I assist you?
Howdy there. We are looking into some goings on, and we actually we had a piece of lace that was sort of someone suggested might have come from here, and we were, I don't know, I think maybe hoping someone here at the shop might be able to identify it, maybe perhaps who it was sold to, even. I don't know.
Oh, indeed. Perhaps you should speak to one of the seamstresses.
Sure.
Well, I'm afraid Lady Giselle will have to clear that. I'll get her to come down.
Are you a salesperson?
Indeed, I am, and I do some of the more sort of shop-ready clothing. Stuff that's already been
see.
made, you see. Doesn't need to be fitted to some people. Lady Giselle doesn't trust me with the more expensive stuff. A lot of money exchanges hands, you know. I can occasionally be known to drop things. I don't mean to, but you know, sometimes it just happens. Therefore, I'm only allowed to deal with the sort of more simple stuff and greeting people at the door. And perhaps I should get Lady Giselle
Right.
for you.
Nothing wrong with
Yes.
simple, my dear.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and bring her down.
And with this, she's trying to talk and walk, and she turns and she just sort of trips over the edge of one of the racks and knocks her dress to the floor. And you hear this crisp voice from the top of the stairs. Harriet, again! Please, try and mind yourself. I am ever so sorry. And then this lady, beautiful elf, deep red dress, sort of lovely white lace at the top, long blonde hair pulled to one side with bright emerald earrings. Oh, gentlemen. To what do I owe this pleasure? This would be quite a challenge of couture, and, oh, I see. Are you all coming to... Well, I mean, they do say Giselle can fix anything. Are you the subject, dear? And she's gesturing towards Sasha.
She'll look over at Sebastian. Is this part of the plan?
Oh, Sebastian's outside.
Sebastian's outside.
Oh, she'll look outside at Sebastian and say, "Perhaps I should call my my boss. He's more."
Oh, not to worry, Natasha. We've dropped the ruse, I believe.
A
Oh.
ruse? Oh, I do love a ruse. Well, good. I'm glad you're not going to ask me to perform miracles today. Perhaps, did you want to talk to me, or did you want to purchase something?
Perhaps we could join you in your office, Lady Giselle.
Oh my, well now we're talking. And with that, she sort of looks at the group, and she's coming?
Yes, certainly. Most trusted
Disappointing,
member of
but,
our party.
well, alas, things are as they must be. Do come upstairs. And with that,
think
she will lead you
On the
up.
way,
Yep.
just she's gonna mutter towards Hendrik because I think he's the only one that would understand and say, "I've met cows with more manners than her."
He'll just certainly laugh at that, and just I think that's probably true of many of the folk here in Harbaden, but hopefully we can get something out of her nevertheless.
Once she gets you upstairs, she'll take you into a small office. You see there are various measuring tapes and sticks and a couple of sort of bodices made of wood. And she sort of looks at you. Well, so, you needed something? You wanted to talk? How might I be of assistance?
Well, we were hoping you might recognize this piece of lace we have here.
Oh, indeed.
Chester Torn.
Torn will lay it on her desk.
Ah, yes. Midas feast. Last month. About 22 days ago, I think. At this point, I sold it on a Thursday. 3 ladies I had in. All interested in a similar type of dress. We used the same lace on all 3. The lady Lana, Malphas's wife, she paid quite well. Dressed that night. The lady Veta, indeed, she had commissioned hers in advance. And the Lord Montache purchased it for his wife Avella, that she must be the height of fashion that week. I used a similar lacing in the Lady Adina's dress, but it's not this one.
Interesting. Could you perhaps tell us a little more of Lady Ivella?
Well, no. Not my place to gossip about my customers. She has an excellent figure. She wears dark blue and purple best, but black is her favorite color, despite the fact it is not the one that suits her most. She looks excellent with deeper paints, but not so great with lighter paints, and she insists on painting her nails dark colors when she should paint them pale colors. But apart from that, no, I can't tell you much about her at all.
Milady, must I say, it is almost shocking the amount of grace you hold for your customers in not carrying their names in your mouth. It's so unfortunate that they did not have the same manners in regards to your name.
You raise an eyebrow, you.
Oh, please, don't mind me. I'm just a farm girl. And
Well, yes,
she'll go back
indeed
looking at
you
the
are,
pretty
but
dresses.
I would think that my customers, my valued customers, would speak of me most highly. As indeed, only Giselle is fit to dress them. As
Yeah.
for those who can't afford to buy anything here, I don't see why I should bother.
I can see by your beautiful dresses, these are perhaps some of the most beautiful silks and cottons I've ever seen my whole life. And
I can imagine so.
I must say that the beauty in your dresses carries over to the grace of your tongue, but it is unfortunate that your customers were rather quick to speak your name under closed doors.
She's rolling an insight check on that. Are you implying that one of the ladies we've mentioned has spoken badly about her?
Well, we know that someone has spoken badly about her.
Who?
The Lord that she just came out of the house from.
I'm confused.
What's her name? This is Gisela.
Yeah, the
This is Giselle,
dressmaker.
yeah, the dressmaker.
Yeah, so he said that everyone in high society kind of fucked around and did nasty shit.
Oh, very much so, but Giselle is not high society, she just dresses them.
Well, for me as Natasha, she's high society.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
I see what you mean. So
continue-
nobody said something specifically about her, but they have said stuff about her sort of
I'll continue with
society
my
circles.
my gossip ruse.
Well, be that as it may, I've given you the information on the fabric that you asked for your crass investment. I'm assuming you're not looking for a sample to try and purchase some.
Unfortunately not. I know how distressing it is to a tradesperson such as yourself, fine craftswoman, to not have a sale waiting
She
in the
looks
wings
over
here.
you all,
But,
and frankly, I find it a tiny bit of a relief. But go on.
but suppose, well, you seem to have quite a head for the sales you've made. I don't suppose any of those ladies seem to need to replace that dress recently.
None of my ladies would wear the same dress twice. Goodness. Yes.
And they've all been in for something new since then, regardless, I imagine.
Oh, of course. The Lady Avella or the Lord Montache, whichever is paying on the day, visit at least 3 times a week. Veta, indeed, comes almost every morning. And the Lady Lana, well, let's just say that her pieces are done on a more private basis. As for Adina, although, as I said, the fabric does not quite match hers, she's also a regular customer. All of
Well,
them
not
are
much
very
down that avenue then. I believe there was a suggestion that the nail polish might have come from here as well. Torn, you want to show her that and see if she recognizes the color?
nail polish.
Ah, yes.
Indeed, I source nail polish from a couple of places. Yes. Go on.
This purple color, and I'll show her the wood chip.
Oh, that's Lady Avella's color.
Interesting.
All signs point.
Okay. I think that's about as decisive as it could possibly get.
Well, we do thank you for your time, Lady Giselle.
Yes, indeed. It's amazing that you have managed to afford it. Nevertheless, go on. Get on out. Though the gentleman that was outside, cat fellow, if at some point
Ah,
he
yes.
wishes a suit, I'll be most happy to do it at a discount. He would be interesting to dress.
Well, but perhaps when he's feeling a little more above the weather.
He's interesting to do all sorts of things with.
Well, I don't want to know about your bends. With that, she will, she will
Ma'am.
sort of summarily dismiss you, and Harriet will see you out. She sort of opens the door, and Harriet, get your incompetent backside up here and see these guests out. They're done. With that, she'll turn to addressing a couple of the Eginassi in the corner. Proper seat lines and mature details. As you all get outside, do I assume we're heading over to Lady Avella?
That would be seemingly where all the lines
Has
were
anyone-
arrows point.
Has anyone explained to us like who exactly Lord Montache is, though? I'm a little concerned that she may be of a little like of even higher society than these other three women.
That's a good question. A good point.
No, nobody's explained who Lord Montache is. However, you were given directions, and the directions were to the house next to the main keep.
Ah. Oh.
Yeah, what's
Wow.
more, if we run down another one of these lines where they're just like, no, it's not, it's one of these other people did it. I don't really know. Do we have much of a strategy for prodding beyond the surface of, the hell's the word for saying you didn't do it?
Innocence?
Whatever. Denials. That's what I was talking about.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so at this point, you would be able to head up the road to Lord Montache. Lord Montache's home is... It's opposite the Drunken Dragon Inn, a fine establishment. Lane. It is probably the finest of homes in the city, apart from the Citadel hub on there. And as you turn up, Bastion, how are you feeling over there?
That's an 11.
Yeah, you're sort of beginning to regain your wits.
What does this house look like?
It is 5 stories in height. It has 3 wings to the side. There are marble pillars at the entrance. Big door with a brass knocker, like the head of it. There are excellently cultured gardens out the front.
How should we handle this, Henrik?
Well, I was thinking that in terms of the we, it might be you wants to take the lead on this one. You're fairly good at talking to folk, and they might take a little more to someone a little bit more prestige in the background. And height, quite frankly. This building's a bit imposing.
I don't imagine that there are 8-foot-tall humans in there, but nevertheless. Perhaps Sebastian should join us. The nobility in this city seem to find him rather interesting.
I'll tap Taran on the leg. All right. And then I'll walk up to the door and knock.
Within moments, the door opens and a silver dragonborn stands before you. Gives a deep breath. Well, good day. How may I be of assistance?
Greetings, cousin. Might this be the residence of the Lord Montache and the Lady
It is indeed the
Bella?
Montache residence. Did you have a booking or appointment, or did you wish to make a spontaneous visit? As he says spontaneous visit, you see he's almost like spontaneous. Who does that?
Well, spontaneity is the fruit of life. Is the puts the excitement into life. No.
Is it indeed? I find organization skills are prized in my line of work, but nevertheless, they are not expecting you.
Oh, but that. Okay.
Might
He's
we have?
asking, are they expecting you?
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, are they indeed? Excellent. Well, in that case, I shall let Lord Montache know you arrived. Who might I introduce?
My name is Sebastian Belmont. I am in the Museum of Wonders.
yes, and
Are you
I am his
indeed?
consort, Lord Torin Goldenbrand of the Goldenbrand clan.
Oh, a golden brand, indeed. Well, in that, I'm sure that they will be dying to know how your family's line came to such failings. And then he wanders over. As he says this, two humans sort of come and stand in the hallway watching you. They appear to be servants, but they do both have cudgels at their back. And he ascends a staircase and goes around a corner. After a while, he comes down, and it would seem they're not expecting you, though the Lord Montache is curious and says you may come up.
Oh,
We
lovely.
have some iced wine on the chiller. Is that something you would like to partake in?
Yes.
Certainly.
Is that a good idea,
And
Sebastian?
with that, shortly afterwards, you see a girl sort of scurry on past you up the stairs, carrying what appears to be a large metal holder filled with ice and a bottle and some glasses. Another gentleman sort of follows with a tray of what appears to be some sort of canapes or small sandwiches. And the third one sort of arrives just before you, just in time to open the door and start rolling a carpet along the floor under your feet. As at this sort of glacial pace, the butler leads you up the stairs. Finally, as this door opens here, the Lord Torin Goldenbrand and Sebastian Belmont from the Museum of Culture, I believe you said? Museum of Wonders, I apologize. Indeed. Be that as it may. And their companions. Sorted. And with that, he waits until you're all in, and then the door shuts firmly behind you. And the two serving people who came up with the wine and the food remain on one knee with their hand out. One holds a tray of 5 glasses, of chilled wine, and one holds a sort of tray of canapes.
I'll take a glass.
Okay. As you approach the glasses, you see that the girl with the wine is hesitating, completely unsure of what height to hold them at, as she looks at your party. So she sort of attempts to adjust for each one of you as you come past, which is quite a task, and you just hear this. Sat on what appears to be almost throne, like. Well, you seem you've come into my home, but what exactly can I help you with?
Yes, and we do thank you for being so hospitable at such short notice, Lord Montache.
Indeed. Luckily for you, I was expecting somebody else, and they seem to be late, so it would do well for them to be delayed, as I have another appointment. And you fitted the bill interestingly as quite a variety, I think. Well, be that as it may, to what exactly might I owe the pleasure?
Murder.
Murder? Oh my. Whose?
Porrick, Lord Porrick. And
Porrick.
I'll tug on Torrin's clothes. That was his name, right?
That's correct, Sebastian.
Lord
Very good.
Porrick, indeed. He died almost a month ago. Can't say I was particularly close with the fellow myself. But anyway, what of it?
Where was your missus the night of question?
Oh goodness, I don't know. What night did he die?
It was a dark night.
22 days ago.
It was 22 days ago.
7th of the month. And he looks at you. Oh, that was the Midas Festival. I danced with my lady wife that evening a fair few times. I retired a little early. I had a stomachache. I can't say I know exactly where she was, but... Well, be as it may, I have problems occasionally with my stomach.
That's
he-
incredibly unfortunate.
You may roll insights about it if you wish, but he genuinely is telling the truth. He does have a stomach problem. Quite honest about it. But I would most definitely suggest that if you wish to find out what my lady wife was up to, you speak with my wife. Should I call her in?
Yeah.
Perhaps we could meet with her in her own chambers. I wouldn't
Do
want
you think
to-
she might have secrets from me?
Well, I just wouldn't want to, intrude upon yours. And perhaps you did mention that you had another appointment.
Oh, no, I do look forward to both delaying my other appointment and seeing the look on my lady wife's face as you question her. Shall we bring her in?
Interesting.
As you wish, my
Okay.
As you wish, my lord.
Tomas! Get the Lady Vela. I think she's painting at the moment. Bring her down.
I'm gonna go get a canopy.
Okay. Again, he sort of adjusts it to your height. And he does his
And
best to sort of... He's trying to adjust it to your height whilst not looking at you and keeping his eyes downwards. It's quite the task.
I'm also gonna put the empty glass on the tray and then take another one.
She will endeavour to immediately make sure that there are, again, 5 glasses ready. You see her slight panic in her eyes as there is not much left in the bottle. But she'll be okay. The Lady Avella arrives shortly. She's wearing a black lace dress, different in style. This one fanned out at the chest, and not as long. She has deep purple nail varnish on, matching exactly the colour of that earlier, and she has around her neck a deep ruby neck. She takes one look at the lot of awesome one.
Murder.
Yes, what of it?
Forgive my associate here, Lady.
I don't think I shall. Avella is the name. Murder, what of it?
Are you in the business?
Occasionally, when it takes my fancy.
And did Lord Porrick not take your fancy, as it were?
He
He's
was,
trying to put on this voice to try and fit it a bit more.
he was most frustrating.
Oh my!
Frustrating.
Parading around the fact that it's okay for men to act like dandies and sleep with each other. Quite disgusting, in fact. Yes,
I want to look over at the Lord Montage and see if he reacted to that at all.
No, not in the slightest.
Okay.
You may roll in.
Is there a problem with that?
Oh, indeed, most definitely. Can't be having embarrassment. Your turn.
9.
9.
He seems to be holding his face very still. So, yes, we can't have people meddling like that.
We had gotten the impression that perhaps your difficulties with Lord Porrick were not so much who he got up to those activities with, but the fact that he didn't want to get up to them with you.
I think you may have me confused with another woman. No, I did not dance with Lord Porrick. Dance only with my... However, his after-dinner activities... questionable. His publicized. Men to sleep with other men was disgraceful, to be honest.
Did your husband dance with Porrick?
But no, don't be ridiculous. Why would you do that?
Yes, that would be out of the question for many lords in this place.
No, but certainly they wouldn't deign to do it in public. Nothing despicable, in fact.
And where was you 22 days ago?
Well, I danced at the Midas Festival. Then I came back here. I made a change of clothing, of course, although I did keep the skirt on. It was a nice skirt. I made my way to Lord Porrick's house, and I slit his throat. And I left. What of it?
I'll turn to behind us to Henry kind of touching Kiavo.
I would like to do an insight check first of all.
Sure.
Do we have shackles? Or...
She looks at you. Oh, seriously, you're not thinking of that, are you? I mean, come on, who exactly are you?
20.
Oh, she's telling the truth. She killed him. Who exactly are you?
My name's Sebastian Belmont.
So, nobody of importance.
Actually, are you in the Museum of Wonders? Because I am.
Good God, no, darling, I'm still alive.
As am I,
Oh,
as you can see.
yes, but you're probably in as a curiosity. I'd rather not be a curiosity, people.
No, why would anyone be curious about you?
Indeed. Well, be that as it may, now that you have the information you're looking for, are you going to be leaving?
Yeah, would you like to join us as we
No.
take you to the station?
Not particularly. You don't think that the guard are going to come and arrest me, do you? Goodness me, who do you think
Yeah.
pays them?
It's the best. I'll sort of lean into Sebastian and say, I fear she may have a little more sway over the authorities in the city than
Anyway, on
any of us
whose
combined.
behalf do you investigate?
Would
Alright.
investigation team Hennig would have told us about what happened at their at the
Yeah,
place they were-
you've all
Yeah,
shared.
yeah, of course. Of
Then
course.
I'll whisper to Torian. Can't you just sleep with that other lady and get her to arrest her?
Well, wow, Sebastian. I don't
Take
know if
one
I have
for
the
the team.
stamina for that.
Take a break in the middle. Make a sandwich.
The Lady Avella looks over at Chiava. You're quiet. Want to say anything? Surely you're not going to be foolish enough to
particularly.
try and arrest me, are you? You do
That's
not even
for
belong
who?
to the guard.
That's who? Well, we don't tell.
At least you've got some air of professionalism, despite your lack of... What even is your shtick? There's no coordination here. Races, sizes, clothings, everything, nothing, no, there's just no coordination here at all. Really, if you're going to get into the art of investigation, you'd at least have a patron that helps you out and forces you to look decent or gives you some official bearing. I mean, for goodness sake, you've turned up and you can't even arrest the person in question. If you had have come to me first, darling, I could have set you up perfectly with a little investigation unit. Could have had you as playing little detectives. It might have been quite exciting, especially the little cat here. Look, he seems to be enjoying my wine, certainly.
I'll turn around to Chiavo. Are you gonna let her talk to you like that?
Oh, well, at least he's amusing. Nevertheless, did we have any other business today?
Perhaps not with the business, Lady Yavella. Just gathering information, you see.
That information gathered, is there anything else you'd like to gather some information on? They do say the Lady Avella has quite hearing.
Why? Was it just because you don't think men should dance?
Rumors were
men?
spreading, and to certain places that I did not want them spread to. With this,
And
she
where
sort
do
of
you-
turns to her husband and gives him an eye. There are some
Oh,
suspicions that could not come.
so it was to cover your own marriage. Interesting.
With this, she then sort of leans into her pocket. She pulls out a very long, thin pipe. Now, was there anything else you wish to ask about? And she blows the smoke into Sebastian's.
Torin will look down at Hennig and sort of like motion to be like, should we get the fuck out of here, or
Natasha will motion back to you two and say, and think, is she gonna let us leave? Considering she killed someone over the basis of rumors, we fully know she killed someone now.
Exactly as you say that there is a knock on the door. And the silver dragonborn. Dusk is here for your next appointment, sir. Oh, have him wait outside. They're in the middle of something, right? Door closes. Obviously, Dusk is the assassin, but we got him there.
Sebastian's eyes are gonna dilate.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. They're gonna dilate. and his body like his like left ear twitches as three of him come out of him, and they're all gonna flip her off.
Well, you would make fine entertainment. Could I hire you for an evening as the jester? I'll give you 6 silver.
You could, but I think your marriage is the funniest joke here. Ba-dum-bum.
Look at you. Yes, well, political marriages often are a little amusing sometimes. But my husband here knows to keep his tongue still and do as he's told. Don't you dare! Pats him on the arm and he turns to you all. I think perhaps you might wish to take your leave.
I'm just mildly curious of one further thing, which is just whether, well, with the arrival of Mr. Dusk, whether your killing of Lord Porank was sanctioned in that same way, or simply something you know you'll get away with.
Oh, goodness me, no. It was just a matter of convenience. I wouldn't have bothered the Nightblades with something like that.
Well, and
Besides,
given that,
Well then.
most of the time when we're paying the Nightblades, it's for protection. Let's just say that... and with this, she sort of lets her hand, like, flick, and a knife comes into her hand. Sometimes the pleasure is in it.
I want to look at the Lord here, Lord Montash, and say, I don't suppose whatever you're hiring Dusk for would have anything to do with this business.
Goodness me, no. We're hiring Lord Dusk because, well, it's come to my attention that somebody may wish to harm us. They say he's the best in the business.
I can't imagine why.
Well, the threats to myself are usual and acceptable. Threats to my wife are quite expected. Threats to my daughter are not to be tolerated.
Excuse me? Threats to your daughter? That's...
Indeed. But, alas, that is all I'm going to speak of on the matter.
Well, that's about all I care of on the matter, and I'm gonna leave.
Indeed.
As Sebastian's three of him leave, they're all gonna flip her off again as he walks out.
Very well.
Torin, waiting for until everyone's left, will sort of bow to the two lords and say, well, we do appreciate your time. Good day.
He nods. The butler is eager to escort you out. As you get out, do I assume that we're going to tell Nathaniel? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
seems
put
like-
him-
No.
We
No,
gotta
we're not.
ask him-
Like,
We gotta ask him about these games because obviously he must have known about them.
Well, yes, we do, but at the same time, if we tell him, he's just gonna get himself killed.
Potentially.
Natasha, you
I
can give
don't
me
know
an
that
insight
he
check
was-
on that.
Huh?
You can give me an insight check on that. Because there is elements of this where he's shown a little more
16.
restraint than perhaps he could have done. You would assume that Lord Nathaniel has been moving in these circles for quite a long time and is probably sensible. Probably.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I know
Should
you're
we-
the DM telling us, but as Natasha, I would like to.
No,
keep
no,
thinking.
I definitely am saying probably. It's plausible that he's an idiot. But you're not 100% certain on that.
Sorry, really quick. What was the name of that lady?
That was
Avella.
Lady Avella Montash.
Well, it seems yet again we ran in circles and we landed our asses back at the beginning with nothing to show.
Well,
would
just
say nothing, Natasha.
certainty for Nathaniel might be worth something, I suppose. And I just wanted to make sure it didn't seem like there was going to be any retribution in his direction. Doesn't really seem like they're too concerned about it.
We're coming up towards dinner time, and you have a room booked for tonight at the inn anyway. Like to head that way, General.
Yeah.
As
Sure.
you enter, you again see Nathaniel drinking at the table, and sitting a little to the side this time, at a separate table right next to him, is the Lady Veta. Sebastian followed the lawyers. As you all come in, Veta will look to Sebastian. Any luck?
Sorry, who are you?
Indeed. With that, she just raises her glass to you and nods. She's very pleased with your retort. Nathaniel looks at you and, oh, you're back. Any news?
Well, after talking to some of the folk that you recommended, we only ended up last at the home of Lord Montash and Lady Avella, at which point Lady Avella fully took credit for the murder.
Oh, damn it and blast! Never be able to hold her over the coals for it.
She certainly
Yeah.
seemed to think so, and we didn't immediately see a way around that, so we wanted to at least let you know what we had determined. I mean,
Orank deserved so much better.
Did
He looks to Lady Veda and sort of raises his eyebrow, and she just shakes her head. He pulls a small coin purse out. And, 2 gold pieces upon the table. Right, it's not a huge amount, but your troubles. Closure is at least something, though. Lady Aveda is not somebody I can contest with him.
I feared that was the case, Nathaniel. I do apologize for your loss.
Well, be that as it may, some of the more personal effects of rank have been passed down to me. I shall take my leave with the city.
I hope the games he plays don't continue as you leave.
James?
Can't say because of Twitch chat.
Well, you can give it, you can imply.
I will imply.
Dangerous
These-
games with slaves?
Non-con.
It's a bit of
games.
information gleaned
Myself
from.
and Lord Porrink did not get involved. Nor did we truly know the depths of them. I can imagine.
Did you not host them, my good sir?
Sorry?
Did you not host them?
No, we hosted parties with those of similar incline at Lord Porrink's house. And indeed, there were servants there of also similar incline, but I certainly aware of the nature. He was a gentle soul. Self too.
Indeed.
Perhaps
What we
Lord
shared was
Poring.
love. The
Ignorance.
nobles such as Lord Montash and Lord Jaziel and Malphas, they gave us... I was trying to give them some credibility, some, to speak out about the way they are. We all were. The games you speak of show me that truly the nobles here really do not care.
I ain't buying this for 1 second.
Why not? You thought he murdered his lover. What, now you think he's guilty
I
of playing
think I
sexual
don't
games
think
with his
he's
slaves?
I don't think he's as in the dark about these games as he's claiming to be. There's
Okay,
no
would you
way.
like to insight that, or you just decided?
No, Sebastian doesn't really care. I'm just saying for the
Okay.
record.
Oh, very well. For the record, he doesn't give a shit.
Torin will say, perhaps Porink saw something that he wasn't meant to, Lord Nathaniel.
I think it more likely that my dear late lover spoke a little too loudly about the fact that men should have the right to be who they wish to be.
it does seem that a big fancy house such as that of Lord Montash and Lady Avella has pretty sturdy closets.
Indeed. I did better myself. I think, what's life like in that village you come from?
Sandringham.
Well, we don't know too much at the very moment. Unfortunately, it was largely burned to the ground of late. We are heading back to help with rebuilding tomorrow morning, in fact.
Rebuilding, you say? Is there much space in the area? Do you think, perhaps one might build their own home and perhaps assist us with building others?
I
I
have
think the assistance
no
would be
doubt
extremely
whatsoever.
welcome.
Indeed. Shall have to put some assets in order, but I have been preparing to leave Harbondon.
Well, if I may say so myself, Nathaniel, Sandringham is an idyllic place. My family immigrated there from Isra.
And were they
Many years
judged
ago.
for their race or their religions or their beliefs?
Not at all.
Nope.
They were welcome with open arms.
It does seem to me like a village might be a place where one can truly be themselves without having to navigate the politics. Good at that as I've become.
Lord Nathaniel.
Good as that as I've become. It would most honor me if you would allow me to travel with you back down when you go. That'd be...
By all means.
Thank you. In the meantime, allow me to pay for your room and get you a meal. And he sort of... Jorkan, do you think we could have a food for 5 and drinks for 5 and make sure they've got rooms for tonight? I'm departing with them tomorrow. Jorkan, goodness me, is that so? Well, said Lord Nathaniel departing. Are you coming back, sir? And no, I don't think I shall. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to sleep with men! With that, we shall end our episode.
I'll drink to that too, Lord Nathaniel.
I was gonna say, cheers.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to sleep with women.
Good.
And
Please
maybe some
drink to that.
Yuan-Ti.
Yuan-Ti! Yeah, why not? Let's sleep with some Yuan-Ti. Yeah, I think we'll end there. Missy, I'm sorry for waking you all up earlier, but unfortunately, Warren has to go.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I
no, that's
didn't-
all right.
yeah.
At the end of the day, we were just going to waltz on back to Sandringham and see what's up there, so we can do that next episode.
Fair enough.
I'm aware that this campaign is taking glacial pace to the extreme, but I'm really enjoying the pacing. I hope that you guys don't mind it.
I love it.
Good. At some point we'll go, slay some dragons or something. But anyway, in the meantime, +1 insight, guys, to a lot of you, for your understanding of what's going on today and your investigation. And DM inspiration and a point of charisma to Sebastian. I think, Sebastian, you were utterly hilarious throughout the entire episode. Your performance was... I've never been in such hysterics as you and Natasha in the mercenary hall. Oh, and that reminds me, Natasha, a point in deception. You're not the best of liars, but I think she did quite well to navigate her way through there. Total
Sebastian was
pleasure.
definitely funny when it was tired and emotional this session.
Oh, it was fucking brilliant. Speaking of which, Josh, I'll start with you, MVP.
Just really quick, you did say put a point in charisma, right?
A point in charisma and DM inspiration.
Okay, cool. And what's
I
my
usually hesitate to give anything out to Sebastian because he's my husband, but I think you earned it
Yeah.
today.
my MVP? I mean, so much of it was so much fun. Also, just to explain, Sebastian's not drunk. It's just been a long time since we've stayed in one place and not really done anything, so he kind of sees the moment.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Especially when we're going to rich people's houses and they're offering us wine. My MVP. So many funny moments. What was it? It was something to do with like a foursome of a lifetime or something like that. I can't
Oh yes,
remember.
which you said a foursome of epic proportions
Yeah.
in regards to the
Um,
fact that Kiavo and Torin were so tall and
yeah.
Henrik was so short.
Yeah. Probably.
Good, I'm glad you liked that moment. Rico.
So definitely the investigative team of Sebastian and Natasha was like killing me the entire time. But I have a couple of
Yeah.
lines that I wrote down that I thought were
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. The first one was Josh saying, "I'm not a bad posh." And then the second one was when Natasha was just like, "Oh, we're a couture fertility clinic." I was like, "What the fuck does that even mean?"
That was brilliant. I loved that.
Oh man, so good.
True.
Hats off, guys. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was
shit.
great. Joe.
Yeah, the Couture Fertility Clinic was on my list as well. That's just where it went over the top. Like, it was already going in that direction. It's like, no, 100% anachronism now. Don't worry about it. Not only is it a fertility clinic, which makes no sense in this era, but it's couture. Like, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
But not long after that, I really did like also. I don't even know, Josh, if you meant it as like to be like a sort of obtuse joke. I think you did, but we're like, you're like, I do know what I'm gonna ask next, and then like a beat where did you get this wine? like as though that was part of the like we're expecting this big
I know,
question.
I was
for the
like, oh,
investigation.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
where did you get the
Yeah.
wine?
Something
But
good.
no, it was full on me not knowing where to go, and thinking I don't know what to ask, and I was like, well, Sebastian really doesn't care particularly about this investigation, so why not ask about the wine?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Especially since my disguise was pretty much crumbled anyways.
Yeah, it was great.
So, yeah.
Jamel.
I'm gonna have to give a shout out to the theory that we drafted during the break. Is it okay if I share this, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
So the theory that we crafted during the
I
break
haven't heard
was
this,
it
by
was
the way.
actually the servants who might have been wanting to do it and had it financed by someone because the dodgy stuff that was going on.
Oh. See what I mean? Players are always more clever than the DM when it comes to twisting
Yeah, you
terms.
see, that was the line that we were like, I hope this is what it is because this would be genius. Between that and the Femboys, our lines of thought and our sort of predictions and the directions of thought that we've had, we've been all over the place in ways, and yeah, I know I should give one for in campaign and in session, but my
Oh, that was
MVP's
good.
really got to
Yeah, I
be
like
the
that.
stuff that we had out of character as our predictions, because some of these would have been incredibly spicy, and
Good.
I can just say I like the Sable as a result
Yeah,
of this.
I love the idea that it was the slaves. Servants, sorry. They're servants, not
Yeah.
slaves. Bruno.
It's really nice because, like, obviously in the previous campaign with Josh, both of our characters were like together very often, and they had a very goofy relationship. So it was nice kind of having a session now where we could kind of like relive that and like bounce off each other. I always love role playing with you, Josh. But my MVP goes to Nathaniel, because at first I was quite disappointed when we got to the end and we couldn't really have justice for pouring. So like as Natasha was like, oh, this is so unfair. The world is terrible. But then when Nathaniel was like, you know what, you're right, it isn't fair, and I'm kind of tired of this, and I'm going to help rebuild Sandringham, which is Natasha's arc. I've come to the conclusion that she wants to see Sandringham be rebuilt as a better, fair place. So when he said he's going there, that made me as a player and me as Natasha very happy.
Good. I have a couple that just amazing. Rico, you cracked me up twice today. The first one you went, I would imply this, but A, Torin's an idiot, and B, he doesn't have the ability to. That was good. When you said, I don't know if it was Rico or if it was Joe that said, Chiavo has theoretical intelligence. that gave me a good laugh. That was Joe.
Ouch.
Okay, cool. That gave me a right good laugh. But my favorite moment was in this really stupidly comedic moment of Natasha and Sebastian going on the investigation. Bruno turned quite seriously to Josh and went, but if it fails, what shall we do? I just thought it was just a beautiful contrast of like, she was taking it so seriously and yet it was such a state and mess. Yeah, I mean, but the dynamic duo was just, God, I could have listened to that
Natasha
for
in a
hours.
nutshell.
I was just in tears.
Yeah, I was
so
crying.
yeah, you guys absolutely fantastic today. I'm sorry it's a little bit earlier than usual, but well, such as it is. I don't think we're gonna raid anybody. Oh yes, we are. We are gonna raid Mendari as we are wont to do. Mendari gives me a load of inspiration for my own homebrew world. She homebrews worlds on her own throughout sessions and answers various questions. She's 5-day-a-week homebrewer building a world. She also makes some homebrew subclasses and spells and races and monsters and all sorts of other things. In fact, I do think she's currently homebrewing a scholar subclass and spell design. So yeah, if you guys would like to say goodbye,
Until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
let's go show her some love. See you soon.